Okay, the last one I will show you for Excel is for portfolio performance evaluation. For the portfolio performance evaluation, remember we have talked about all these portfolio performance measures like Sharpe ratio, trainer ratio, information ratio, Jason's alpha, M-squares. So based on all this part, we can do this case. So also the 30 stocks, and if I want to make them based on different criteria to construct my portfolio. So let's have a look. The first portfolio construction is based on the size. So based on the size, the 30 stocks, I have the large size portfolio and small size portfolio. For this large cap portfolio, we just based on the market capitalization and select the top 15 stocks to construct this large market cap portfolio. And each stocks we give the equally weighted. So keep it simple. I just use the equally weighted. And I also just write down the beta for each individual stocks and the average return for each individual stocks. I just give it to you. And for the portfolio return and portfolio risk, it's the same way using the matrix multiply, we can calculate the result for the stock, the portfolio risk and return. And using the same way, we construct the small cap portfolio and we calculate the portfolio return and portfolio risk, and also the portfolio beta. This portfolio beta is the same way we use the weight to multiply each individual stock's beta, and then sum them together, we can get the portfolio beta. And the second category is we based on the beta. So the big beta 15 stocks, we have one group. The other small betas, we have the other group. And similar way, we calculate the portfolio risk and portfolio return. And the third categories, we separate them based on the PE ratio. So the high PE ratio, we have one group. The lower PE ratio, we have the other group. So the lower PE ratio, definitely we usually have the value stock, and high PE ratio, we have the growth stocks. So based on different categories, and you see the stocks name, definitely for lower PE ratio, we have the blue chip stocks, or the always set the value stocks in here, and we calculate the portfolio return and portfolio risk. And the last category for construct our portfolio is based on momentum effect. So that's all from the multi-factor model, and we know the momentum effect is based on last win. And the stocks last year earned the money, and we assume it will continue growing. So this group, we have the stocks for the momentum, and this is the last year has continued. Last year has continued earn the money, and the top 15 we have this group, and the last 15 stocks we have the other group. So based on momentum, we have these two group. So after I have separated stock, construct our portfolio based on different criteria, and we need to compare the results for our portfolio. So let's have a look. Based on the market capitalization, we have the big cap and small cap. And for the big cap and small cap, the result for portfolio return and risk, we have already do that. And also the portfolio beta, we just write down here. And for the active return, so the active return, remember, we that before in the lecture, it should equal to our portfolio return minus the benchmark. So if we are using the stock market, our SSE composite 上证综指 as our benchmark, so we can calculate this our portfolio return minus the benchmark return, the SSE composite. And for this portfolio return, based on different stock, we can construct our portfolio using the equally weighted. And using this portfolio return minus our market return, we can get this active return. So you calculate the average for this column, we can have this active return, the average active return. So that's the let me show you. So that's the number here for this active return. And for this tracking error, it's the standard deviation of our active return. So just using the last column here, we directly calculate the standard deviation for this column. We can calculate this tracking error. So that's the tracking error. How can we calculate? And next one is CAPM return. So based on capital assets pricing model, we using that model, so it should equal to risk-free rate. So the risk-free rate, the daily risk-free rate, we give it to you here. So N63 and plus the beta, so the portfolio beta we use here, and using the market average return minus the risk-free return, so we can calculate the CAPM return here. All the information we get here, so then we need to calculate our table here. So I just using this part to show you our table. For the Sharpe ratio should equal to here, the portfolio return minus risk-free rate. So portfolio return is our here B63 minus risk-free rate, and over our portfolio risk. So we got the Sharpe ratio here. And the next one is trainer ratio. For the trainer ratio, we equal to portfolio return minus risk-free rate, but we need to over the beta. So we over the portfolio beta here, we got the Sharpe trainer ratio. Information ratio is quite easy. It equal to the active return over the tracking error. So we just using the active return over the tracking error. So that's this part. And Jason's alpha. And for Jason's alpha, it equal to our realized return, which is our portfolio return, minus our CAPM return. So we just minus this CAPM return, we can get our Jason's alpha. So for the M square, you can calculate by yourself. I don't have enough time, so I forgot to calculate M square. And you can do all this calculation by yourself to calculate the measures, portfolio performance measures for each portfolio group. And then we can compare our result. Based on Sharpe ratio, if in this market cap, definitely the small cap works better than big cap. And based on trainer ratio is the same, but information ratio in the big cap is better than the small cap. And finally, the Jason's alpha small cap is based on this result is consistent with the literature. The small cap works better than the big cap. And for the beta, that categories, and we find that generally the passive stock works better than aggressive stock. And for the P ratio, let's compare the result. We find that generally the growth stocks works better than the value stock, but it has a little bit inconsistent with the literature, because the literature find that the value stock should be better than the growth stocks. And the last one is momentum effect. For the momentum effect, let's have a look. From the result, definitely the momentum effect works, and the past win will continue win, and past lost will continue lost. So we will follow this momentum effect. And so that's based on different categories. And if we compare them together, let's have a look. The best one is, I think the best one compare each portfolio it should be the momentum effect portfolio that have the best performance measure. Okay, so that's the case. I show you how can we calculate how can we construct a portfolio based on different scale, like market capitalization, beta, P ratio, or momentum effect, and then we calculate the portfolio performance measures and doing the portfolio performance evaluation. Okay, so that's all for all the Excel application. So I have lots of other Excel application for multi-factor model, or doing some active management, and like Black-Litterman case. And because we don't have enough time to show you each one by one, so I just give you some basic idea. And if you want to discuss more detail or complicate a case study, you can contact with me. Okay, that's all. Thank you.